You might be killing your fruit trees right now and not even know it. It's not a disease and it's not lack of water. It's actually something you are doing out of love. Today, I am showing you one silent killer hiding in plain sight, the volcano. And if you fix this one thing, you can literally save a tree in your yard this week. Welcome back. I am Tony. I grow here in Central Florida, Zone 10A, and today we are covering something that you may not even know, even if you've been gardening for 10 years. Or if you just start gardening, this video is for you. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you can join the journey in fixing your trees. Let's get into it. So I'm taking you to the park so I can show you this crime scene. Take a look at this volcano shape. This is a slow death sentence. So there's two things happening here. Wet socks. So imagine wearing wet socks 24/7. Your skin rots, and that's exactly what's happening to the bark. It gets mushy and let pests right in. Second is the Boa Constrictor. This is a long-term killer. The roots get confused. They grow up into the mulch looking for air, and it wraps around the trunk and it tightens like a snake. It's literally strangling the tree so it can't drink. So you won't see it today, but in 3 years, that tree is gone. So we're going to go to tree number 2, right over here. This is what we call the telephone pole. You can see the trunk goes straight down into the dirt. There's no curve, there's no flare. So what we are missing, the tree have no ankles. So the root flare is where the tree breathes, is buried under all of this mulch. So when you bury the ankles, you're suffocating the tree. If your tree looks like a pole sticking out the ground, you need digging. You want to pull back the mulch until you find the root flare. You see how this trunk curves out like a bell at the bottom? That's the flare. Think of this like the tree ankles. So you can cover the feet, but the ankles need to breathe. Now, size matter. If you just planted a baby tree 1 or 3 years ago, keep the mulch lighter, about 2 to 3 inches deep. Their roots are shallow and need air fast. For a mature tree, you can go a little heavier, 3 to 5 inches to suppress weeds, but the rules still apply. You want to keep it off of the ankles. Okay, so I see some trees that I think is actually done correctly. Take a look at this. They didn't cover the root flare here, and look at that. Look how beautiful this tree is. Now, you might be looking at your volcano or your mulch and think, but Tony, my tree looks just fine. That's the trick. This is a slow burn. If you do nothing, here's your timeline. Year 1, your tree would just sit there. It survives, but it doesn't grow. You keep watering it, you keep fertilizing it, but it looks stuck. By year 3, your leaves start turning yellow. You think it needs fertilizer, so you dump more fertilizer on it. But it's not hungry, it is choking. The roots are strangling the neck of the tree and it is not getting what it needs. And by year 5, you walk out after a storm and the tree has just snapped off the base because the wood rotten through. You just wasted 5 years of growth because of a pile of mulch. Done incorrectly. So don't let that happen. Now, let's talk about the biggest trap for beginners. Landscape fabric. Put that down. If you put plastic or fabric under your mulch, you are suffocating your soil. It turns into a dead, hard brick because no oxygen can get down. The worms can't come up to aerate it, and let me show you. So as you can see, the feeder roots will grow into the mesh like Velcro. Honestly, I can't even pull this out. When you try to pull up this later, you are ripping the roots right off. It is a starvation diet. Use cardboard instead because it feeds the worms. Just make sure you take the tape off if you're going to reuse any cardboard boxes. If you want to graduate to pro level, forget the wood chips entirely. Let me show you something I'm doing right here in the garden. Now, I use mulch quite a lot in the garden, but I have switched to using a lot of the plants in multiple ways. Here's how. So you can plant low growing herbs like oregano or thyme or even sweet potato vines. It's like giving your tree an extra bodyguard. So let me show you some other plants we have going around. I just started putting this down. So we are using this is some thyme that we put down on the bottom of the tree. So you can use some herbs like this and it works in a few ways. So a lot of us like to plant our herbs in one dedicated spot and we put it all in a raised bed or all in one pot. we are doing our herbs and our trees a disservice, because you can use them around your trees. Not only are they inviting the good bugs, they're also keeping away the bad ones, because that smell is very strong and it helps protect your tree. Not only they shade the soil, they keep the moisture in, and they also attract pollinators. We put marigolds around our trees as well. So don't think, now I'm not telling you to plant a whole herb garden in the bottom of your trees. You can, but just be mindful and not just keeping them in one locked up location, because they are great companion plants for your trees, especially your fruit trees. It's also a weed suppressor, because it's very hard to get weeds to grow, especially when you have a layer of herbs protecting the bottom of your trees. It's very, very hard to get weeds to come up from there. The other point I want to make sure I say, just because you put herbs or sweet potatoes, you still have to make sure you're keeping them away from the center. The same rule apply. All right, I'm heading out to make sure I do a little maintenance in my garden today. So if you fix this one thing, you literally can save a tree in your yard this week. So now go outside, check your trees. Let me know in the comments below if you learned something new today. So that way we are growing together. This is all a safe zone. And first thing you need to do, remove that volcano. And if you're using any weed barriers or any weed suppressors, switch that out for some boxes, or the pro way, use your existing herbs. You'll have some mango trees that are producing fruit. Of course, this is too early for our mangoes, but look, it's pushing out flowers. It is a baby fruit, and you can save your trees. So if you're new to Florida, or you're just struggling with fruit trees, I have created a few guides that will help you on your journey. You can find them right on my website, rootedinjays.com. I'll also leave the link right on the bottom below, so you can start seeing some fruit on your trees too. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.